Hey everybody, welcome back. You know what we do. We are here on a daily basis on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. And this time I'm excited to give you guys some goodness of my mindset and some of the tools that I will be using for the next year or so to create more content. So it's a rarity. I very rarely open up the toolbox and say, hey, this is what Martin uses. And this is what Martin recommends. You know, I'm always interviewing people about their story. So this is the first time I'm able to do that. And I'm excited to have a guest with me because, as always, I don't do things alone. You know, I believe in community and I believe in community tools. And so I want to welcome to our platform Charlie Weiser. Charlie is from this app called Callin, and I'm using Callin myself. But I want to give Charlie a chance to introduce himself and let us know a little about his background. Charlie, welcome to our platform.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. I'm excited to be here and share a little bit about what we're doing on Callin and what we've done and where we're heading.
Excellent, Charlie. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you come to technology? Like, what's your technology hero's journey?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Bay Area in California, Silicon Valley, so sort of exposed to a lot of the technology world and whatnot, just growing up and since I was a kid and I've always been fascinated by technology and different gadgets and gear and whatnot growing up. So um, I attended Stanford in down in Palo Alto, and so obviously there's kind of the right in the heart of Silicon Valley, and so you're exposed to a lot of really brilliant people and ideas and whatnot, and and so that was really where I started to really kind of fall down the fall into the tech rabbit hole and I worked in the cryptocurrency space for a few years before and then I joined the Callin team back in May of last year and when it was just two engineers and we were in an apartment together and so kind of the cliche story there, which was fun. It was a great summer, just building out the early product. We had a great early community and got a lot of wonderful feedback from early users. Had a really solid beta period, and then Callin launched in September. So that's yeah. And now here we are.
So let's talk about one of the pain points that Callin fixes. For me, and that journey, I should have just acknowledged the journey, you know, from Stanford to the small apartment. I'm sure that took uh, uh, some thought and some, you know, a little bit of trepidation. So that's exciting that you're able to travel that space and decide, you know, hey, I'm going to bet on myself and bet on my skill set and be able to go ahead and create a product. So congratulations on that. That's to be celebrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it is the engineering team is incredibly strong, and so a little bit I could provide a little bit more background. So Callin was co-founded by David Sachs and Axel Ericsson. David was a part of the PayPal founding team, and he actually now he runs Craft Ventures, and before that was the founder and CEO of Yammer. So he has been through this before, and now he's also a co-host of a major tech podcast called the All In Pod. Um, and so his experience of going through the full podcasting production process and seeing all of the work that goes into the preparation and all of the hours in post production. That really was served as the sort of the foundation and motivation for starting Callin, of giving everyone a platform for being a podcaster and putting it into the smartphones that we all have, and at the same time you had Clubhouse and Spaces that came about, made it very easy to start these live audio rooms. And so really putting the whole podcast production suite in there, it was the primary initial kind of idea. And then Axel is the co-founder and CTO, and then Ryan Rice is the kind of second engineer, and they just did an incredible job over the summer building a just really solid product, and the team has grown since then. But it was the team is amazing.
Gotcha. I mean, I think that one of the cool things that I've always wanted to figure out at the start of these type of apps is truly who is, I don't want to say a true believer because I just said truly, but and what that looks like. It's good to know that somebody at the founder team really sees the same pain point that I saw, which was like when I have to submit my podcast to Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spreaker, iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, SoundCloud. I'm like, so I'm just like, yo. Um, so that's great to know someone else felt the same way.
Mhm.
I want to just for the audience who doesn't know what Callin is, I want to just unpack it as an app. So first, it's an audio app that you can speak on. You create a room in that app, and in that process, you can have is different than Clubhouse, at least the terminology and the language, which for me speaks and harkens more back to Blog Talk Radio,
Mhm.
which I was on early back in MySpace days. So having callers versus having guests. I love that it has the phone and it's
Yeah.
actually someone's going to call into the show, which is more like me as a radio guy. So um, that terminology and the concept of a caller versus, and people are listening in the audience, but the caller's on stage. And then above that caller, you have the two or three or how many ever hosts you're going to have. Um, that was all dope. I was like, okay, that's cool. But the big thing in that space was the sound quality. The sound quality on Callin is bananas.
Mhm.
So what led to that as a pain point? I get we're gonna, after this is over, we're gonna send it straight to the podcast platforms without the host having to do anything. It automatically sends it. But the sound quality, what was the idea behind making sure the sound quality in a room is so phenomenal?
Yeah. So, I mean, with an audio-based application, the audio quality is really paramount, and so using a service that has really top-notch audio quality was a really important decision, and so that impacts the experience not only for the speakers that are talking amongst themselves, made, making sure they don't get distracted or hung up. You know what, they should be focused on the content and quality of the conversation, but also for the listener experience. That's audio quality is number one there. And yeah, to your point about calling in, it's kind of returning to this sort of more old school like talk radio, and allowing everyone to be their own talk radio host is a really cool concept. So now anyone can start their own talk radio show right from their pocket, absolutely free, just a few clicks from your phone. Um, and and what's really cool is fusing not only the live element but also the asynchronous or not live element. And so when you have a live room, it's sort of like you're recording in front of a live studio audience, which that, if you're a listener, is its own experience, hearing live content. But then also after the fact, being able to publish that, and which then ends up looking more like a podcast episode. So it's sort of live. It's like a talk radio show or call-in radio show, and then not live. It turns into a podcast, and you can really have both of them, which is cool. And then maybe what we'll talk about a little bit more today, as well as the various tools that the app has for enhancing content, whether it's editing or interactive features or distribution to other platforms as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the all that what you said, the editing, the distribution of other platforms, I I um I one of the things I try to look for when it comes to consumer products, especially products that people are going to go to every day, there's going to be some problems. It's just the way the nature of the beast. But I look at, how do we judge whether this is a good product? Am I going to recommend this project? Am I going to get involved with this product? Is by whether or not the consumer pain points are already incorporated in that space. And one of those pain points with all this stuff is definitely sound. And another pain point is ease of use. How easy is it? Can I press this button? Can I click this? Can I bring this down? And most people in my community, we're on our platform, we're used to Clubhouse. And so when Twitter Spaces launched, we were used to using Twitter Spaces. But in both cases, we did not, and then Green Room, we did not really have a way to save that conversation. And now here at LinkedIn Audio, we're back to the same place where at Twitter Space you can save, Clubhouse you can save and replay. But now LinkedIn Audio launches and there's no way to save that conversation. So I think, the ease of use and the fact that once your room is over, the intentionality of the app is to say, how do you want to use this room? And do you want to download it? Do you want the transcription? Are you submitting this? And so are you submitting this through RSS feed to another podcasting platform? What are you doing with it? Do you want to edit it? The fact you can go back and make this a draft, and then before you submit it, I mean, there's a lot of intentionality. So my curiosity is, how many podcasters or how many social audio users did you have really beta testing this, and for how long?
Yeah, so our the beta period ran for most of the summer. So I think it was, and this I can't remember exactly, but I think it was around mid-June to September 2nd when we launched, and it was a great group that we had over the summer. It was a lot of people that had expressed interest in joining and participating in the beta period on Twitter or other online forums, and we would engage them and invite them to participate in it. And what was really cool, going to your point about ease of use, anyone can create their own. A podcast is called a show on Callin. We call that show, so that's like a talk radio show or your podcast series. A show is just a collection of episodes, and it only takes a few clicks to create a show on the app, and anyone can do it. It's available and in an open platform for anyone. And so a lot of users were creating their first ever podcast show, and which was really cool to see people that had expressed interest in the app then really diving in and using it and playing around with the different features. And we learned a lot from our early users as well, how to improve things or identifying bugs. And we established really great relationships with those beta users, and a lot of them are still active on the app today. Um, and Callin really is a it's all about creators, and it is a platform for creators. And we want to provide the tools for creators to be able to, as easily and seamlessly as they can, create high quality audio content. And so by providing all of these, we might have ideas about how people are going to use the app, but We want to just really focus on the tools and providing them different tools, whether it's transcription or RSS or distributing to socials. We want to provide tools for creators to be able to create and in the future monetize their audio content. So we're a creator first platform, just fully focused on providing these features and tools for them to do more. And really, what's been awesome to see is people that haven't been creators before taking the step, and because of the ease of use of the platform and removing the friction in that creative process, people becoming first time creators on the app. So that is always something that we take a lot of pride and something we think is really cool is people might join the platform because they're favorite podcasters on there and they start off as listeners, but then they graduate and level up because the app is so easy to use. Um, so that's something that we hope more people will sort of take that plunge into being audio creators.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I asked you guys to join me on our platform, because I wanted our community to really get to know you guys before I actually started really rolling out Callin. I want the company. I always try to make sure that companies are accessible to our community. And one of the questions from Product Hunt, most for anybody in the audience doesn't know what producthunt.com is. A lot of times when products launch, they go to this website and they let the world know, the tech world know, hey, producthunt.com. And so one of the comments from producthunt.com, I thought this was really interesting, is like the person says they really enjoy showing up late or the next day to a podcast and they can catch up at 2x. So they can catch up by speeding up. One interesting thing about Callin, the app, is that it doesn't just appear to be just a device to do a podcast. It also very much appeals or appears to be a community building tool that your listeners who listen to the podcast, they can consume content on the platform, join other people. There's a chat room feature, build community right there around that podcast, and then experience other podcasts. So it feels like you built two different things. You built a podcasting tool that eases the nature of what a podcaster goes through and in distributing to other podcasts automatically. And you also help the podcaster create a community. And so one of the other things I was thinking about was, how did you do this for free? Because literally every other podcasting distribution tool is it's a per month charge. That's one. And then two, the editing of podcasts, like I will just say another service out there, .fm. There's two services that do .fm, but one that really focuses on the quality and sound of podcasting. They charge also. So you got two tools here: one, a community building tool, and two, a podcaster's personal tool and distribution. Like, it's free. This is heaven.
Yeah, no, totally. To address your first point about community, it's been amazing to see the communities. Obviously, there's a call-in community on the platform from all the creators and listeners and the user community, but then the communities within that have been formed and also strengthened has been amazing to see. And we think Callin is a great community engagement platform. One for the call-in features, being able to interact with Callin, we call Callin a social podcasting app. So it's fusing these social, more traditional social features with podcasting and audio into social podcasting. And these social features allow for interactivity with hosts and with communities. So with the call-in feature, community members are able to call in to their favorite host shows and actually speak with them, which is something that is fairly new in terms of being able to interact with your favorite journalist or athlete or reporter or artist. Having being able to speak to them is something that is really people have really enjoyed and also fosters that community versus just exchanging
Yeah.
written messages on other forums. And so when you hear somebody's voice and you're able to really get full context on things and people's kind of their what their voice is, it really helps to establish relationships and build community, and not only live. Call-in rooms are live, but then, like you said, being able to come back and listen to it after the fact, is people have busy schedules and they can't always tune in to things live. They've got families and other obligations, and so being able to come back and listen to these conversations if you couldn't make it live, allows you to sort of relive that live experience. And there are other features in the app that allow you to still interact with users, like commenting on episodes, liking episodes, sharing them, or clipping up your favorite highlights, and sharing those on Instagram and Twitter or TikTok, really wherever. These different features are really meant for fostering that interactivity and which helps to build community. Um, so it's a great platform for any individual or group that has a community and is looking not only to more directly engage the community, but also strengthen that and help it grow. So that's been something that has been awesome.
I think the other thing that I try to do my 30-second elevator pitch about Callin, and I just say you get to record your podcast, you get to share your podcast after the recording is over. It's automatic, and you get transcription, so you can turn that podcast into a possible blog post.
Yeah.
And then lastly, if I want to edit it, I can go back in and add in tags, description, what have you. And I don't know this to be the case. My assumption is that it automatically updates that. Is
Mhm.
that the case?
So there is a review for if you submit suggestions to the transcript. There is a review.
Not the transcript. I was just saying the description of the podcast.
Oh yeah, you can. You
Right.
can. The host has full control, and the host, it's really a host centric model. So whether it's in the live room, there is hierarchy in call-in rooms where the host sits at top and has full control over who gets to participate. If people are being disrespectful, host has control to remove that person from the room. Um, or like live chat is a feature that we recently added. Hosts can revoke a user's access from the live chat if they're being disrespectful. And then yeah, after, they can change the title, description, whether live or after the fact. If there's a typo or conversation went in a different direction, the hosts have full control over all of that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the time and effort that it put into the design of Callin. I think it's phenomenal. Um, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit and kind of go into you know, when a lot of times we have these different platforms, one of the interesting things or challenging things, I guess, is the tone and sentiment of the platform. So early on, Clubhouse was thought of as like a tech bros platform,
Mhm.
and then kind of shifted to, as COVID and the pandemic lengthened, shifted to a place where people are going who are iPhone users, and so it was
Mhm.
like elitist somewhat. You got to have an iPhone. It was always the invite only site platform. And then I would say there was a shift to kind of everyday people before the Android was allowed and all that stuff. Um, and then we look at Spotify. There's a certain type of tone on Spotify. There's a certain tone in Twitter Spaces. Now with Amazon app, there's a certain tone there.
Hmm.
So, is there a thought process to what you guys want Callin as a platform, the spirit, the energy of the platform to be? What's the life of Callin?
Totally. No, yeah, absolutely. And this is a great point and something that we've really put a lot of thought into. And we did a lot of research and got a lot of feedback from early users about what that early community is and uh, some lessons learned from other platforms. It's something that we took very seriously, and we want Callin to be just open and accessible for everyone, and very neutral. We don't want the platform to have. We want it to be welcoming for everyone and everyone to feel welcome. And so we've done a very diligent and made a very conscious effort of onboarding people from all walks of life, and we want the platform to be neutral and really focus on providing the tools and features that allow anyone to be a creator. So that's that's really our approach to that, is being neutral, and we don't want there to be sort of certain stereotypes or different um, those different feelings towards on the platform. We want it to be open for everyone.
That's cool. That's cool. That means that for our users and our followers, that what I always try to do is to be available, to be an intermediary between anything I endorse or anything I say I'm going to use. So if there's an issue, definitely guys come to me. Let me know if you download Callin. There's some problem. Let me know. I'll let the team know. Um, Obviously, they can go through the correct channels, but they have you know a faster channel, will say with me.
Yeah.
Uh, and they can follow Charlie on LinkedIn. So you can cut me out the middle. Just go right, Charlie. No,
Yeah.
no, Charlie. But yeah. So I guess in the way that I want to end is the concept of I have this content. I have an intention. I'm going to create this content, which is a podcast, and I'm going to take the content, distribute it out, and then I realized, oh, I forgot a e or something in the description. I can go back in. You can change that content. Then I can also repurpose that content because I have a transcription. Um, what are the things that are on a future roadmap for Callin? Like,
Hmm.
what are some of the cool new features you guys are thinking about?
Yeah. No, great question. We're the product. It's amazing the rate at which the engineering and product teams have been able to iterate and improve the product. We're just constantly shipping new features. Some of the just to look backwards first, some of the recent features that we've released. The biggest is RSS syndication. So hosts, what this means, RSS is an open technology or standard
Mhm.
that allows
That's
for episodes to be distributed to different platforms. So Callin hosts can just in a few clicks enable the RSS syndication, and then their shows will be distributed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Um, and the app handles all of the technical setup and maintenance and whatnot in the background. So all hosts have to do is turn it on once, and then they can distribute to Apple Podcasts and Spotify automatically. And so that's really cool. We released a new Discover page, which does a much better job of really showcasing all of the content that's on Callin. So you'll be able to see episodes that you follow that you haven't listened to yet, or top or trending shows and episodes. And we've also released a sort of a new feature on the feed, which allows for hosts to attach images to episodes. So when you're scrolling through the feed, you can see different images for different episodes from the same show. So whatever that episode's topic is about, you can have a custom image for that episode. Um, and what's coming up in the future, we're exploring a number of different features, and a lot of what's really great about having a really active and strong community, not only of creators but listeners as well, is we get just a bunch of feedback that really helps to guide our product roadmap and decisions. So we are always interacting with users and collecting feedback, and using both a mix of uh, quantitative feedback, so data about how people are using the products, and qualitative feedback to help determine our priorities and uh, and and what should be next on the roadmap. So one thing that we're really excited about is monetization tools and allowing for creators to monetize their shows and their content. So that's something that we're really excited about, and allowing people to be rewarded for their content.
Yeah.
Yeah, so um, that's something that, like, YouTube has done a great job of really allowing people to earn a living, by being video producers. So we want to do that as well with audio content. Um, and then we're exploring, redesigning certain pages, to make them more engaging, and we're always looking to enhance the audio quality as well. So there's a number of different efforts underway for improving the audio quality of so that the experience is better there. Um, and for you or anyone else that's listening, if you have ideas, we're always open to suggestions and feedback. So please just send me a message if you have any ideas, and there's really nothing we won't consider. So it's really fun.
That's awesome. Well, Charlie, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys making yourselves available. And I'm happy to start this journey of 6 podcasts a week.
Yeah, I like it. We're all
Little
pumped.
bitches.
Yeah,
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 that'll be
yeah,
fun. Well, what's great
yeah,
about Callin is that it's all streamlined. That hopefully it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
uh it's pretty low effort and
It is.
doesn't
It
require
really
much.
is.
Yeah,
It sounds a lot more complicated and like, oh my god, but using this one app, my guests download the app, we go to call in, we do our thing, we're out,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
go on with your life.
yeah. You'll have
So
some good conversations.
exactly, and I think that this is the wave of the future. I was just talking to a kid in North Carolina who's doing art interviews and at like art exhibits and stuff. And I was saying to him,
Mhm.
he wants to. The other thing I haven't really told the staff, or this is the first time I'm saying it to you guys. I'm launching a digital radio station that's going to be strictly news. So it's a totally different concept, but some of the shows will be able to repurpose and stuff. So he wants to have his own show on the radio station, and it's like, yeah, when we go out, I'm shooting it. It's a different experience being in front of somebody and being. I was like, yeah, that's true. They're in North Carolina, but as you start to speak to artists in California or speak to artists, Detroit is the city of Detroit and also the family that owns Target. They're combining resources to help build a fashion institute or a technology HBCU college in Detroit. So that's
Mhm.
like if you're going to be interviewing professors from that college or what have you, you're not going to fly to Detroit to do that. So you're still going to have some type of software and some type of interaction. And I was like, dude,
Mhm.
like, why don't you just use Call It on your phone,
Yeah,
their phone? Like,
yeah.
well, we could. I was like, I'm just telling you, it's audio. Like, we're not talking about video. Now, for his video, that's his thing. He's an excellent videographer, so I get it. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think calling is just. It's hard to say no. Like, it's just on your phone.
Yeah, it's
It's
free.
free. It works. The sound quality boosts the sound quality, optimizes the sound. That's like phenomenal.
Hmm.
And I've never tried to use it with wireless headphones. I just don't. I don't think wired ever is the way to go. Wireless, sorry, is the way to go. Wired is always the way to go. But I'm pretty sure it makes the wireless sound better than you sound on Clubhouse. So so it's like you can't say no to to a call in. So like
Yeah.
it's yeah. So
Well, we're
congratulations.
all, yeah, thanks. We're all super pumped to tune into your show, and it'll be fun to follow the growth and like
Yeah,
you
the
touched
journey.
on the community and and the interactivity and whatnot. So we're thrilled to for you to get started.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend. Be safe.
Yeah. No, thanks. You too, Martin.
All
It's been
right.
fun.
See you later.
So yeah.
So, guys, we're back and at it again tomorrow because I want to make the announcement about the different podcasts we're going to be doing and want to make sure that everybody gets the right information. And we'll see you later.